Any entrepreneurs in the room? Really? Okay, interesting. Anybody want to be an entrepreneur? Nice, entrepreneur aspirations. Okay, do you guys have ideas? Like, you guys just, you kind of just want to roll with it eventually? Nice. Okay, in that case, this is awkward. I don't think you could teach entrepreneurship. I don't think the school system's built for that. I think it's something that you just pick up and like through action, and you just like learn through experience. Any entrepreneurship majors in the room? Yeah, it's really awkward now. Okay. Well, for the entrepreneurship majors, what do you plan? Just, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what do you plan with doing with it? Like, you want to go into your own business, get a job with it? Business? Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. Well, basically, my story, and actually, before I go into that, the reason I'm so against school is I've dropped out twice. I used to go to Holy Cross. I played soccer there. I was running my business, needed some time to expand it. I said, yo, parents, like, I got to do this. So I left the first time. Second time, just really missed playing soccer, so I ended up coming back to Bryant. And then the business started taking off again. My team in Toronto, doing our marketing thing, getting clients. Took off again. I was just like, okay, school's really not for me. And you know, my whole life I've got C's and D's. Don't know how I ended up at college. I come from a Jamaican family, Jamaican, and my mom's Spanish, so we're minorities. And when my report card came home in high school that I got a D in math, or I think I failed math actually, they were like, yo, what the hell, da, da, da. I was like, sorry, I just don't care about Pythagoras theorem. Like, I just don't care about all that. It's not me. Like, I just want to sell stuff. So for my whole life, like 8 years old, lemonade stands, been selling candy at double the price I got from Dollarama and dollar stores to my classmates, like granola bars. The time I was 14, I had my first official business, landscaping, and you know, I just knocking on doors. Little black kid just, hey, can we cut your grass? Can we shovel your lawn? Like, not building snowmans. Like, I'm entrepreneurship like to the max. I wasn't building snowmans in the summer. I wasn't making snow angels. I wasn't like chilling at malls in the summer when I was 14. I just went, knocked on doors, wanted to start like experiencing business. Hundreds of people told me no. Like, me and my cousin who started it, we went through like 5 neighborhoods, 500 houses, got like 450 no's, but got 50 clients. Then we started hiring, got some people to start cutting the grass for us, made tens of thousands within 2 years, 14, 15-year-olds just doing our thing. So I've been doing this from the start. That's why I say I don't think you could teach it. I think you just have to do it, fail along the way, and you know, you'll learn and pick it up as you go. With all that being said, fast forward to current day, I just give you some context around myself. I run a social media marketing company out of Toronto, Canada. We work with brands such as Tim Hortons, Dunkin' Donuts equivalent in Canada, Loblaws, the biggest grocery chain in Canada, Cineplex, the biggest movie theater chain, other mid-sized businesses. So we just help brands market themselves online in this digital world and target millennials and Gen Z like yourselves, get them sales, get them awareness, etc. But I'd say my main points for today, I really want to cover self-awareness, going all in on your strengths, not giving like a care about your weaknesses, and no regrets. I'll start with self-awareness, because my whole story is pretty much self-awareness. It's like balancing school, soccer, and business. I really have to just find myself and say, yo, what do I want to do with my life? I have all these different avenues. Like, because I can't go 33%, 33%, 33%. Like, I'm not going to achieve greatness that way. And I just really have to look in the mirror and say, yo, you have these big goals, big ambitions, and you're trying to speak on thousands of stages and be like Tony Robbins type figure and run a multi-million-dollar company. Like, you got to decide. So my story, I just said, all right, sorry soccer, sorry school, parents, here's my pay stubs, like this is how much money we're making. They're like, oh, whoa, okay, go do your thing. So I was like, I'm going full-time with business. And with you guys, as I see a lot of students in the room, I'd say the sooner you could find out what you want to do and like what your strengths are. Like, I don't care if your professor told you you should be an architect. I don't care if your parents told you you got to be a lawyer. If you're not doing what you love from the start and like what you really care about, you're gonna give up. I mean, how many of you in here have like been told that you should do something, but you don't want to do it like deep down? Like, sir, most of you in here, right? Now imagine this. So you grow up, you follow your parents' advice. Your mom says, Johnny, I want you to be a lawyer. Now you grow up your whole life studying law. You end up becoming a lawyer. Now you're 28, you've made it, but you're unhappy. You know, you're with your wife and kids, but you always look back like, damn, what if I pursued that business idea I had? Like, what could it have been? That's what you don't want to live with. That's where no regrets comes in. And the reason I do what I do is because I don't want to look back when I'm 90 and start thinking, well, I'm dead now, like, maybe I should have tried that. That sucks. Like, we're all going to die one day, and you're not going to come back. Like, no one's coming back. I don't want to impose my religious beliefs on anyone, but if you are coming back, the opportunity won't be the same, I believe. Like, I think you got to make the most of it while you're here. And so, on that point, self-awareness, when you're going through school, I'm not standing up here just to be cool and saying you all got to do entrepreneurship. Some of you in here could be the next great president, prime minister, whatever, but you're on a different path because someone told you not to. Like, if I listened to my teachers, who knows where I would be? I don't even think I would have made it to university. My teachers told me I would fail. They told me, you're getting D's, you're a loser. Like, now the fact that entrepreneurship is cool now, like, I love it, and like, whoa, you dropped out of college. Like, 4 years ago, people would be like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, stay away from me, you're Jocko. Now I get to speak on stage, on business, and like, so the world will come to you if you just, stick with what you feel is right with self-awareness. Just follow your gut, go with what you think you should be doing. Like, if you really love it, go all into that. I think right now the world, people are telling you to fix things you shouldn't, like, that you're not good at. Like, if I listened to people and fixed my math skills, I wouldn't run a company. I focused all in on my strengths. I understand people, I'm a good people person, I'm good at sales. So I was like, I could create a business out of that. And I went all into it. I think to be great at anything, you have to go all in. That's the only way you can achieve greatness. And I'm so desperate for all of you. This is why I'm desperate to get to the Q&A portion, because I could provide real value. Like right now, I'm obviously speaking just like generic terms, generic advice. But when you guys ask questions for the Q&A, like I really want to dive deep into like what you guys are experiencing, how I can help, and any advice through my journey that I could give you guys would be great. So I'll kind of fast forward to the next point. Yeah, no regrets, man. So, fellas in the room, all of you in here, I'm sure saw a pretty girl walk by, but have been too scared to approach her. Can you guys agree on that? A little bit? Yeah. I'm fully, I agree on that. I admit it. Cute girl walks by, I get scared. Even though I can speak on stage, I get scared with those little situations. But guess what? Like the next week, I'll be like, damn, bro, I should have went up for her. That's what you don't want as well. I mean, that applies to everything in life. Jobs, school, girls, dating, relationships, whatever. Regret's the worst poison you could live with, because you can't do anything about it. You guys don't want to live with regret. How old are you guys right now? Like 20, 19? Students in the room? 20-ish? 21? Yeah, think about it. You guys have another 60, 70, God willing, years left. You don't want to get to the end of that journey and start looking back, regretting things. So just really focus on what you guys are studying, do well in school. I mean, I'm sure you guys are all good students in here. I guarantee you guys are better students than I was, so really focus on school, try hard with that, try to get jobs, go all into that, do what you love with it. And if you feel once again, just quick show of hands, entrepreneurs who have ideas in the room, who want to grow with entrepreneurship. Yeah, I would highly consider taking a semester off or taking a year off at least. Not saying drop out, definitely don't do that if you haven't established yourself yet, but definitely take some time to really explore the idea. The opportunity in 2019, I feel like for entrepreneurs is the greatest era to live in. This technology phase has changed everything. I think if you don't capitalize now as an entrepreneur, I don't think you should even be in the game, because this is the best time to live in. 20 years ago, no one had the internet to get all your answers. We didn't have Instagram, and have you guys heard of YouTube influencers? There's a YouTube influencer, this little 7, 8-year-old kid who makes $22 million a year just doing toy reviews. Just let that number sink in, $22 million. No degree, 8-year-old little kid, goes to Toys R Us or wherever he goes, picks up a box of toys, goes home, starts opening it. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, da-da-da-da-da. This technology phase, you can make money doing anything. Someone at the back of the room, if you love Smurfs, you could go on a show, on a YouTube show, start talking about Smurfs, collect the right audience, you could get awareness, and you just blow up like that. So I'd highly consider, whatever your passion may be, start telling the world about it, start putting out some content around it, start getting experience. Anyone in the room looking for internships? You guys in the internship phase yet? Okay. Part of my story, before I got into, and I probably should have dove into this, with my marketing company, I didn't just start I'm gonna just start a marketing company one day. What I actually did, I started with Good Vibes. So my name, Mr. Good Vibes, comes from t-shirts we used to sell. Good Vibes, positivity, a positive message. I started when I was 17 in high school. I'm 20 years old now, so that was about 3 years ago. And we were just around the whole era of Donald Trump, when everyone was like, damn, this president, all this hate, negativity, school shootings. I was just like, the world could do better. We need positivity in the world. So I started these t-shirts, sold them all across like Toronto. Literally, that's why I dropped out of school the first time. I was pulling up in my car to university campuses, like, yo, buy Good Vibes t-shirt, yo, support the movement, join the movement, Good Vibes only, and just hustling. Like, the Roto, what we have at Bryan is like the center section of the school. I'll go to different schools and do that and just be like, I needed awareness. I'll get pretty girls wearing it, I'll get the athletes wearing it, and that's how I built that. I'll speak at high schools around anti-bullying campaigns, and I was selling tens of thousands of shirts within 2 years of like doing this business. And so that's when we started becoming known as Gen Z and millennial experts, because we were selling these huge products to all these like young kids. Then we were approached by companies to help them start marketing. So that's how I got into the whole step of like, yo, there's serious money in marketing, let me go into that. But before that, I took 6 months, and this is truth. Like, I'm not just gassing up on stage right now. I took 6 months, I worked for free. Even when I was making money, I went to one of my mentors. He runs a digital marketing agency, he's multi-millions, out of New York, LA, Toronto. I went up to him, I said, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm gonna consider like going into marketing, can I get some experience from your company? And this is where humility comes in. You have to be really humble to do something like this. I went up to him, I said, I don't want no money, I don't want it even on my resume, I don't want a referral, I just need to understand how your business works, how do you get clients, how do you hire people, like the whole process of everything. And he's like, you're not asking me for anything in return? No, I'm just like, bro, I'll come do whatever you want me to do. If you want coffee, if you want me to print a sheet of paper, like I'll do whatever, I just need to understand this. 6 months, went there, learned it, didn't post on social media, wasn't like, hey, this is what I'm doing, like I disappeared. And some young people I talk to, they have these aspirations of trying to go into business, trying to get a career in something, but they don't want to humble themselves and be like, you know what, maybe let me go differentiate myself from the crowd and go offer my services for free. Because no one's going to reject free. I mean, you get yourself in the door, it's a good way to just be like, let me get some experience, now it's on your resume, you have connections, if you're good at what you're doing, that free could turn into paid. I think it's a great chance. So if you're trying to get like a law internship or something like that, I would highly consider going to some like law firms, knocking on hundreds of doors, calling people, emailing, saying, hey, I'm a student, Bryan University or wherever you guys go, if there's other people in the room. This is what I do, this is my major, blah, blah, blah. I really love what you guys do. Like, you know, gas them up a little bit so they want to pay attention. And then say, hey, I'm willing to do this for free for like a couple weeks, a month. Like, I just need the experience. Would you be willing to take me in? Chances are you'll get some people. Like, if someone sent me an email like that to my company, be like, bring him in right away, he's hungry. You know what I'm saying? Or bring him or her in right away. So I highly consider that. But I really do want to get into Q&A. My time's limited here to 30 minutes. I'd love to answer as many questions as I can. Does anybody have specific questions? Like, nothing's dumb. Everything, I want to answer anything. Yes, ma'am.
What steps have you taken to like self-discovery? Like, how do you kind of hone in on your strengths or find them?
You have to try a lot of stuff. So literally when I was 14, before I started that business, the landscaping, I had 2 jobs. I was working door-to-door sales for a college painting company. They hired college kids to go like get leads for their painting business. That's how I got my over my fear of sales. Literally 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid knocking on doors. That's where I got the experience. Then I had a job at this theme park, getting customer service, like learning how to deal with customers. I ended up quitting the first day because I didn't feel like I was being challenged at that job. But nonetheless, like, it helped me find myself. I was like, yo, I'm not really cut out for like this kind of thing, so let me go try entrepreneurship. You just have to try different stuff. You'll find it, you know. Yes, sir.
So you've been working for like a long time, like since you were 13 years old. Was there like pressure on your parents for you to do that, or was like that's kind of on your own?
My dad told me to read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's about like financial literacy. It's a really good business book. I would recommend people check it out. But he told me, all right, like you're a teenager now. Because I told him I wanted an Xbox. He was like, yo, go make money on your own, go buy one. And he said, what job do you want to work? And then he showed me those 2 options. I was like, cool, I'll go start. So yeah, he kind of pushed me into it. But after that, like it's been on my own. Like I would start missing soccer practice to start running the business. Like I knew like entrepreneurship just clicked for me, and I just loved it. Yep.
So you said that entrepreneurship can't be taught. So is suggesting that like it's impossible to make an entrepreneur? Are people just born entrepreneurs, or can someone develop?
This kid definitely was not born an entrepreneur. But at the same time, he didn't sit in a classroom and expect a curriculum to teach him how to be an entrepreneur. So that's what I meant by that statement. I think, cool, pick up the basics of what they're teaching you in your classroom, but like self-educate yourself. I dropped out of school, but don't be fooled. Like I still learn every day, probably more than I would at school. I'm listening to podcasts, watching videos, reading books, talking to mentors, like getting industry news. So I would say if like, one, it can't be taught in the classroom, but you have to go out there and start, I don't know, any business idea you may have, play around with it. Like, you just have to try and fail and then learn from it.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's like literally thousands of marketing agencies. How are you guys able to go to like these huge stores or big companies and be able to like differentiate yourself?
Everybody in our company is under 25 years old, so that's why when we say we specify with Gen Z marketing, which is like people under the age of 23, they believe us because we show them our like work that we've done. And in Toronto, like it's easier for us because people know us now. They're like, yo, you guys do sick work. We've heard about you. Like people come to us now, kind of. But at the start, it was just pitching. I did the free method too. Once again, free method. When I was first starting a couple of years ago, when I was going into marketing, I started knocking on like restaurants, just, hey, can we run your marketing? I'll do it for free for 2 weeks just to show you some results. And then got my foot in the door, expanded from there. But the main thing is get results for your first clients that you have, and then use those case studies and experience. Yep.
So in expanding on the marketing business, like how do you like find like good flavor? Because when you're so like just starting fresh, it's like any little mistake that somebody could do, like it could really hurt.
Of course. So I'm involved in everything, which is also why I need to take it full time. Like I oversee every project. I'm there physically, like from 8 a.m. in the morning till like 10 p.m. at night. And I oversee everything. I make sure like everything's up to par because as we're scaling, you're right, like hiring is very important. And the people I've brought on are from like good universities. I don't necessarily look at their GPA. I meet them in person and see like what work have they done to like actually be good at what they're doing and the experience they have, or if they're a good fit for the company culture and carry that positivity. So I just make sure everyone's a good fit and they know what they're doing. And most of all, I oversee it.
What are the biggest tools in your marketing? Like, what are the biggest tools that you use when talking about your marketing skills every day?
Talking with clients.
Yeah, like, or what stuff like in terms of like Excel or any other like programs, computer programs that you use in your day to day that involve marketing?
I mean, in terms of programs, I mean, our marketing consists of like Facebook, Instagram, social platforms. So we don't like do, because they have ad sets on those platforms, so we don't necessarily use like a like system or anything. But like in terms of skills, I want to answer your question as best I can. Skills when I'm talking with people, it's just about knowing like how to target your audience. For example, I have data and research backing why Gen Z and millennials do certain things. Like I don't just spitball and wing it on the spot. Like I have data and case studies that show that's why they do what they do. So I mean, you just gotta research and dive deep into what you're doing and be really professional about it.
How'd you find your niche, like your niche market clients?
Like marketing to Gen Z millennials.
Yeah, how'd you find that specifically?
I came through just the t-shirts, like as we were selling those, as we sold a lot and we understood like the psychology of a young consumer, we just realized, hey, we're good at like targeting these young kids. We know how they think, we know how to be entrenched in culture. It was through trial and error. Yeah.
What are some things that you're doing right now to currently grow and scale your business, and or some projects you're currently working on?
So right now we are focusing on expanding, like taking over Toronto. That's our main focus. We got to be hometown heroes. We got to be the best in Toronto. Within 5 years, our plan is to move to LA and expand over there. Within that market, within 10 years, New York. So those are our 3 main goals. But what we do day to day is make sure our client projects are like the best of their abilities. Like, that has to be perfect. You can't neglect our client we have right now. As we onboard, like I just got a sales team in Toronto that's going to get new clients. That's the next big step. Like sales is the major key to any business. You have to keep having people in your pipeline to get new clients. And then the third thing is your company culture. So for me, my people are the most important to me. Literally like more than my family. It sounds bad on camera, but literally like if they're not getting their job done, then like my business fails. Like I trust my team so much to get the job done. So we do. Yeah.
The market and consumer demand is constantly changing. So how's your company able to innovate as the market changes?
Keeping up. So these platforms, social media, like it's very hard as a digital agency because social media platforms could change every day. Their algorithms, the way they target people, their ad sets, like Facebook goes through data problems. So what we have to do is, me especially, I have to keep up with everything going on. Like I have Google alerts for anything related to Facebook, Instagram, social media, anything like in that tech sector that I have to keep up with to adjust. It's an adjusting game. Like there's no like set like blueprint to this. You just have to be up to date on everything going on. Jacob?
Any like advice on how to get like out of that static phase where you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over? Like, how to get out of the rut?
I'd say need to change things up drastically. So what are you doing like right now? Your school, extracurriculars?
Yeah, school, indoor soccer, gym, stuff.
Have you traveled anywhere? Like I've seen a lot of people I've talked to like travel opens their eyes tremendously. Like you have to do something like crazy. Like if you're just stuck in a routine and you're just bored and you're just like, yo, what am I doing with my life? You need to go see a different part of the world. You need to talk to some different people. Who knows? It might spark an idea and just be like, whoa, I never thought of that. You know, like seeing the world can like really open your eyes. Just do something crazy.
How'd you get your foot in the door with the Canadian companies? Like, since you're based off in America,
Yeah.
how'd you get?
Well, I was based in Toronto.
oh,
Canada.
Toronto. Oh,
I just ended up coming here for school.
okay.
Oh, but got my foot in the door because a mentor of mine actually runs this company. He's like, hey, we don't specialize with Gen Z and millennials, but I have this client, and it's Morgan, blah, blah, these big players. They may need help. Like, are you up to the job? And I was like, yes, I'm on my way. Like, I'll see if I can help. Sent them my way, ended up talking with their like executives. I was like, okay, if you could be a good fit, this is what we'll charge. Let's do it for the next 12 months. We'll run your ads, blah, 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 and just perform. So connections is huge. Another note, if you're a student in school right now, best part about it, the people you're gonna meet. Like the only thing I wish I went to school for is just meeting everyone. Like you never know who in this room, if you connect with them, might be the next like CEO of Pepsi or something. So you just have to really be aware of like the connections you make in here. Just really make use of that. So, yep.
Got a question for you. So what's your sales onboarding process like when you generate new leads?
We use something called Salesforce. It's a
Oh,
software.
you use Salesforce?
We use
Okay.
Salesforce just to manage all the leads and make sure it's efficient. But I meet any client like myself face to face because like email, phone call is cool, and like it's cool to have my reps like go meet them. But if we're closing it, I have to go and physically close it and like be like, hey, I'm Antonio. I don't use Mr. Goodbye. Antonio, nice to meet you. This is what we do. Just for that trust factor, you know, face to face beats everything.
Yeah, always. Okay.
But Salesforce is the software you can use.
What are some key things you can say to help close that deal?
I never go in salesy, so I think the biggest thing in sales, anyone who enters that career does their own thing. Like, I mean, in life, you're always selling yourself, whether you're trying to get a date, you're trying to convince that person to go with you, if you're trying to tell your teacher, like, give me a better grade or whatever. I think sales, one, don't come off too salesy. Any meeting I go into, I'm like, how can I help you? Like, how can I provide you value? I'm not there to sell you our packages and our month-to-month. Like, cool, I could take your money, but if you win, I win. So I go in like as a servant. I'm literally a servant to these companies. Like, what can I do for you? How can we help you expand? Like, ask a lot of questions. I ask like 100 questions per meeting, just to get a sense of like what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, how we can help them expand. And then secondly, once you have a better understanding of that, this is where knowing your stuff comes in handy. Like, just adjust on the spot. It's very on the spot. Like, you gotta adjust those questions and be like, oh, cool. My knowledge now that I know like my sector, I can adjust on the spot and be like, this is how I provide you value. Now you enter sales mode, always be closing, ABC, close them.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else? Yep.
What are your next steps for your business and growing into new ideas?
For my business, I got two things going on. So as Mr. Good Vibes, like my personal brand, I speak with high schools right now. I tour around like Canada, just positivity, youth entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff. I want to be like in a Marvel superhero movie one day with like just have that kind of impact. So that's my like 10, 20 year plan. That's my end goal. Like once I do that, I'm like, all right, I could die. So I really want to do that. So my main focus is obviously growing the business, but my personal brand's huge for me. I really feel like I can have an impact with the message I'm spreading and just positivity and just like, you know, being a kind person's cool. Secondly, more business related. What we're doing right now is, as I said, you know, getting new clients, making sure our processes are up to date, always keeping up with what's going on in social media worlds, like noticing how Snapchat's declining with certain demographics, why is it declining, Facebook, how they're going to get new people to the platform, like young people, because it's a predominantly old like user base right now. Instagram, how's the algorithm work? So we just have to do a lot of work on knowing these platforms in depth and how that relates to companies branding themselves on them. That's our day to day. Yep.
You had to pick another industry, as a side thing, say you had the extra time, what do you think that would be, like right now?
A second industry, like for business. I'll do entertainment. Like low key, I want to be an actor. If I wasn't in business, I would try to be like Will Smith. I think I'd try to be an actor or something. But yeah, I'd probably choose entertainment because it's fun and like I like marketing to like fun projects. So I think I could do well with like influencers and that entertainment angle.
I think what you said about how some of the most useful skills you learn is not always in the classroom, it's outside the classroom. But as students at Bryant or university, what do you think we should be taking advantage of while we're here?
Other professors, huge part. While I was here, I networked with every professor. I literally walked in their office and said, hey, I'm Antonio, this is what I do. I just want to introduce myself. And that's carried me far. Like, they've helped me get clients. They said, oh, you're doing all this cool stuff. Like, let me introduce you. Once again, connections. So make use of that. That's what they're here for. Learn from them. Secondly, like, I wasn't even taking marketing and advertising classes as a sophomore, but I wasn't even in the study hall hours for like my professors, the course I was taking. I'll go to the other professors that I wanted to network with. So make use of that. Secondly, your courses will teach you good basics. So what are you majoring in?
Leadership and innovation.
Okay, innovation. So whatever you're taking for that, it sounds really intriguing. So like focusing on that, they could probably teach some good stuff. But I'll try and get as much exposure to the outside world through professors or anybody here that could hook you up. Like, that's the main thing. Because the classroom will teach you basics. You got to use that knowledge, take it to the real world, and then trial, error, fail, learn from it, go with it. Yep.
When you were at Bryant, what was your major, and like how did you know that was the major?
I wanted whatever was easiest to get by with grades for me. So I took marketing as my major because I was like, oh, cool, I get it. Like, I don't even need to see the homework or go to class. I just know it. So that was helpful. And then I minored with psychology because I like understanding consumer psychology, how people think. So it was cool. It was really good. Yep.
You talk about learning from failure. What do you think is like your biggest failure in your company that you guys kind of learned from?
When we took on a client, because I used to just say yes to everything because I wanted the money to come in. And we took on a dentist, and I was just like, yeah, cool. Okay, pay us $3,000 a month. Like, yeah, we'll run it for sure. We'll get you results. We didn't end up getting the results we anticipated. They fired us, and we were taking an L there. This was 2 years ago, so that was when I was first starting out. And I was like, it hurts, you know, like someone fires you, you're just like, well, what the hell just happened? So I had to learn from that. And ever since then, I was like, all right, I'm taking on a project if one, the whole team's passionate about it, and we understand it, and two, like, if we can actually get the results. So I learned from that, so we've never failed again. And then secondly, to answer your question again, for public speaking, my biggest failure has been when I was 17, I did my first gig at a church full of kids, and I thought I could just get up there and wing it on the spot, but yeah, it turned out bad. I froze, like, I literally froze and looked at the crowd like, sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say, let me check my slide. It was bad. So failures really help you, like, it humbles you, and you just, like, learn from it. You have to embrace the failure sometimes. Yep.
If you did better in school, do you think that you would have done as much entrepreneurship?
No, not at all. If I was a good student, I mean, it'd be fun to be a good student, like go to Harvard or go to a big time school, you know, hook up with people, like live that college life. But it's just not me, and I just had to embrace that. But if I was a good student, there'd be no shot I'd be a good entrepreneur. But I'm not saying it's impossible. Like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, like those guys are hella smart guys and make way more money than I'm gonna make. But you know, just self-awareness. Once again, I know what I'm about and like where I'm going. They know what they're about. They do their own thing. If you're a really good student, that doesn't mean you can't be a great entrepreneur. I think we're good on time. Thanks, everybody. I mean, if you're good, it'll show. Like, you go to a client, literally,
So it's been 6 months with them. Sorry, I'm just gonna.
Go ahead, I need to know everything.
Yeah, so it's been 6 months with them, and I have gotten like 200 more followers. But I feel like
followers isn't enough. It's
exactly.
vanity metrics. It's like likes, followers. That's not enough to show like tangible results if you're charging them. They need to see like you got to show ROI in terms of like, look, we're getting you more sales. This is how we're tracking them. Like when you're running your ads or running your campaigns, what are you using to show like results?
Oh, like how am I showing him like analyzing what I like brought back?
Yeah, because what we do, like for restaurants, we would get like coupon codes that were redeemable and show that like people are claiming these and coming in store. Like so, you gotta have something like that where it shows you tracking like ROI.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so like creating like just some sort of coupon or something.
That's one example. There's plenty more.
Yeah.
You could do redeemables, coupons. You could track website traffic. Like there's so much you can do, but followers and vanity metrics aren't enough to charge a client a couple $1,000 a month.
Like we've had people that come in, so it's like the t-shirt printing company that are like, oh, we saw your Instagram page and like we heard about it through your like posters or like.
Then you need to track that too.
Yeah. So like
Anything.
that's kind of like how it's working. It's not like he's upset or anything, but like I'm curious. Like if I wanted another client, like I was like to someone else, like the growth's great. And, like,
Take this case study, literally from start to finish. Be like, hey, this is what we started with. This is what we got them in 6 months. Show like your KPIs, key performance indicators. Like this is the metrics we were trying to go for. Here's the goals we set out, and here's how we achieved them. Take them through the whole process. For any future client you have now, you could show them this and be like, look, this is what we did. This is what we could do for you.
Okay.
But please, when I said like work for free, literally, as you're starting as an agency, and if you don't have connections like that, you have to get your foot in the door somehow.
Yeah.
Like, go to these places and knock and be like, hey, this is what I do, 2 weeks free. I'll show you results. Like, you won't get them like out of sales, obviously, but you show like, hey, this is like what the brand looks like now. This is what we're going to go forward with. Like, show them. You do that with 20 businesses over the next year. Like, how old are you?
I'm 19.
You're so young. Like, there's no rush. You know? Do that for 12 months. Like, be really humble about it. Like, be willing to do all that, and then like show the results in 12 months and be like, whoa, I have all these case studies now. I can roll with it.
It's like a couple more clients. And just
You gotta get at least like 5 more case studies, get the experience.
I had one other idea for a business, but I got into marketing and I just like, I really do like it, but I can't help myself. Like I want to pursue both. I want to open up like a printing cafe. Like technology is not ready for it yet. And, like,
So play around with both.
Yeah.
Why not? It's 2019. There's so much tech available.
Yeah, there is. There
Like you
really
can do
is.
anything.
I know. Yeah. It's so nice to meet you. You were so inspirational.
Likewise. Honestly, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll call you back. If you have any other questions, I'm really happy to help.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Being so young, like, how is it not in? Do you ever get like intimidated by pitching your company or?
The biggest thing when you're young, I mean, no one. It's hard to be taken seriously when you're young because I'll walk in a room like a 60-year-old CEO is gonna be like, "Yo, the blonde-haired kid doesn't know what he's doing." I walk in with case studies like, "Yo, this is what we do." Like, "What's up?" Like, you gotta walk in with that confidence, like you know what you're doing, and show results. Most importantly, like no one's gonna doubt the results. That's the biggest thing when you're young. I mean, you just gotta get results because then no one can doubt you.
Right.
That's the only thing. Are you like doing entrepreneurship? You have something in mind?
I have an idea. I have a product, but
Nice.
it's getting it going is like. I'm
It's
like
tough. It's tough. I mean,
fearful, but
why are you scared? Like failure?
that's a factor. But also because I don't think that I know what I'm talking about, or like I don't have that much expertise in what I'm trying to make. So it's like, how can they believe it if I don't even?
What are you trying to make? If you mind me asking.
So
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, generically, just if no one's gonna start on an expert. I didn't start on an expert. I still have so much more to learn. Like you gotta roll with it at the beginning and just like preach as much as you can. Like act like you know what you're talking about. Do a good job at it. Eventually, you get better at it. People start to trust you more.
Okay.
Like there's just no way around it. I mean, you could read all the books you want all day. Eventually, you gotta start it.
Okay.
You know. Good luck with it. Hit me up on Instagram if you have further questions. Be happy to help.
Okay. What's your Instagram?
It's Mr. Good Vibes. Follow you back.
Based.
Toronto.
And then do you have internships?
Yeah, we do. In mostly in the summer. Right now, like our teams, we have 9 people on our team right now.
Okay.
So I take on interns in the summer for like creative work, content creators. Why? Where do you live?
Well, I live in New Jersey, but I come to Canada.
Honestly, hit me up. Yeah, we
Okay, I will.
could be happy to discuss it further.
Is it like Mr. underscore?
It's
Mr.
ITS, Mr. Good Vibes.
Nice
Hey, nice to see you.
officially meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for everything. That was like super beneficial. I took notes the whole time. That
Oh,
was great.
appreciate it. Glad you liked it.
But thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, that
And
was awesome.
I'm happy that I got to see you in person this
Likewise.
time.
You have my vote. If I could vote, presidential
Thank you
campaign,
so
like,
much. I really appreciate
you need me in a
it.
video or something. Yo, good vibes.
Thank you. I'll be reaching out to you then. I really
Real
appreciate
talk.
it. Are you going to come to the keynote?
Are we going right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ready? Yeah. All right, let's go. Yeah.